Hello friends, this is Bharat. Today we are going to talk about session 1 part 1 of TypeScript.
Little introduction about myself. You can follow me in LinkedIn, Twitter, and I have solved a lot of problems in HackerRat and GitHub. So if you guys are interested in any of my GitHub project towards the bottom, you can go ahead and then contribute to it. So these are some of the recent technologies which I'm interested in and working on. Some of them are available in Android store as well. So today we'll start off the demo. I will show you what TypeScript is, and we asked me one question: why is file named as in the extension of file is .ts? And if at all you have any other questions, you can shoot out to me. I will try to answer it. And then I will introduce the project to you, which you can complete it in your own pace. And based on your completion, we will take up session 2. And I also introduce you what we are going to cover in session 2. And of course, the agenda of today mainly would be TypeScript programming language 101. So let me go ahead and then show a demo on Visual Studio Code, which I've already shared the link with you. So you guys have to put it in your system. There are other editors like Sublime. You can also do it in Visual Studio itself. So basically, TypeScript helps you to do type checking. So now we'll talk about what if you write something in JavaScript and what advantage you get immediately in TypeScript. So it helps you to do functional type check and then class type check. And then create a new file, call it as sample.js. Right, I'm going to write a little function here. Sample.js. Correct. So this is a JavaScript file. Okay. I say function sample and let it take some value. Okay, it's going to take some value. So this is how you declare a function in JavaScript, right? So I assume that you guys are all familiar with JavaScript, right? And now let me declare a variable and I just assign nothing to it, and then I'm going to run a loop. So in JavaScript you have to declare it with var. There is no integer or there is no string, right? Everything is a var, and at the runtime it will decide what variable type it is. Var I is equal to, let's say, 0, I is less than value dot length. Say output plus is equal to value of I. So I am basically writing a concatenation little loop where whatever that comes inside the value, I am trying to append that. So if it is a integer, it will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it is a string, all the strings will be appended and concatenated. Then let me assign the value of output to 1, and then I'm returning this. Okay, this all work very fine. It's working fine, right? The function is working fine. So what would be the result of this function? Whatever may be your input, the value, the result will be 1. And let me pass on some value to it. So I'm passing a string to it, right? So as a user, I assume that I can pass in a string to the sample function, and some other user thinks that he can pass in an array. Okay. So this is working fine. Now let me change it to, I'm going to rename this JS to TS. So to answer your question again, I'm changing it to TS. As you can see, I'm not sure whether you will be able to see that clearly because the projector is not clear. So yeah, so it is showing you at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 errors there. All errors are going towards this output variable. I am taking in a string in one instance, another instance I am taking in an array of strings, and I am assigning a null value to it. And and it is basically saying cannot find the name output. So in TypeScript, the basic utility of TypeScript is JavaScript is cumbersome. JavaScript is everywhere, so no matter which website you go, most of the code that you see in the front end is written using some type of MVC or MEVM framework. Earlier, it used to be everything is in C#, .NET, or ASPX, or ASP page, or JSP page, or something like that. If you come from the Java world, but because of the introduction of JavaScript and the maturity with which people add the community add to that JavaScript framework, most of the work that you used to do in server, you are moving it to client itself. The more and more code that you write in client, it becomes cumbersome to handle it. So for example, even in a very simple function, if I don't declare an output variable, if I don't use it, if I abuse using the freeness of JavaScript, then maintaining the code will become very tough. So in 2012, Anders Ellsberg introduced something called as TypeScript. So TypeScript came from Microsoft, and you can write your JavaScript code as if you are writing your C#, right? So whatever advantage that C# gives you. So for example, you declare a variable int I is equal to 1, and then you say I is equal to Bharat. Will it allow you? CLR will basically just throw it away in the compile time itself. Um, so that capability is introduced to JavaScript by this concept called TypeScript. So now, apart from TypeScript, there are various other frameworks, but this is one of the active community. It is quite popular, and everyone are using it. So that is the use of TypeScript. That is the base use of TypeScript. So there are many other advantages like IntelliSense and modularization, namespacing, classes, objects, and things like that. But if you get this one point clear, I'm going to go ahead and fix all these issues. So I can so when I declare it as var, automatically most of the issues are gone, right? So it understands that whatever input that I've given it is a string. It is very clear because I've already told that it is a null string. So it has taken that value. It did not understand what a value is, but still it's okay, right? And it is not allowing you to assign one to it because one is a so type 1 is not assignable to string. So it does not highlight that error, but it also gives you why that error is in first place. So your code won't compile at all. So just imagine in a map, the advantage is obvious. Okay, so obviously I have to comment it out or remove it or do something like that. Okay, there is more things to TypeScript like linting, which we will be covering it in session 2, wherein you cannot just have a orphan input variable like value. I'm just taking in value just like that, but you have to declare it in first place. So let me go ahead and declare it as an array. So now, since I've declared this input variable as an array of string, you cannot actually send a single string, right? So it checks your consumer. It also checks uh, what is available in your code itself. The producer and consumer are now type checked. So that's it. So if you understand it, you understand TypeScript, right? So let's jump into in the project that you guys will be working on, which will be your entry criteria for session 2. You'll be developing a vendor machine app. So you will have to display various products in your page, and there will be various coins in various denominations, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, or 20 rupees. So you have to choose a product and choose a coin, and it will be given to you, and it will be fulfilled immediately. So you have to show that animation, or you can ignore the animation and then display a product in 3x3 matrix. On click of it, that product should be added to your basket. And based on your value denomination, let's say chips 10 rupees, you have to choose the appropriate denomination and then choose the appropriate product. Right. So this will be a single page application, the main aim of this is whatever that we see in the subsequent going forward, you will have to use all those in order to create this app. Understood? Okay, so currently the version of TypeScript is 2.6.2. To know more about it, you can go to typescriptlang.org. It is maintained by Microsoft, and it is a open source cross-browser ES5 compliant, right? Current version of ES5 is ES stands for ECMAScript. So ECMAScript is a parent of JavaScript. So whatever they decide is what people implement, right? So AngularJS knockout, they have to subscribe to it. Is a JavaScript standard. Current version of it is ES7, the latest version. Yeah, right. So TypeScript, three use major utility of TypeScript. One is type checking, which we already saw. Second one is intelligence. So you have class, you declare a class, and then you have various members of class. You initialize the class um, in some other module, let's say in a main function, and then you say dot. It will give you the list of members in the class. So it does not happen in JavaScript. It's a magic. Initially, when I saw this some 4 or 5 years, it was like a magic to me. Yeah, and it will help you to prevent bugs. That's the third utility of it. And whatever code that you write in TypeScript, your browser cannot understand it. Browser only understands JavaScript, right? So all your TypeScript file has to be transpiled. The function, the process in which your TypeScript code gets converted to JavaScript is called transpilation. Transpilation, right? This transpilation will happen, and browser, you have to load only JavaScript to your browser. So whatever code that you write, you will have to write it in TypeScript so that it is useful to you. You get this advantage of type checking, intelligence, preventing bugs, and then you transpile it and give it to your browser. Browser will take from that, and then it will start executing. Right? Yeah, TypeScript is only for developers, not for production. Right? So the underlying uh, theme of it is TypeScript saves a lot of time, and if someone does not use it, you will have to use it, right? You have to tell him why. So you can follow along, or you can just you have your laptops, you can follow along, or you can listen. To quickly start your getting started, install your node, right? I shared the node runtime. The node runtime has to be available in your machine. So this is something like .NET framework. To execute your C# code, you will install .NET framework, right? So similarly, you have to install node runtime. So, and then you have to issue a command called npm install -g TypeScript, so that TypeScript will be downloaded to your machine, right? So you will wonder what is npm. Npm stands for NuGet Package Manager. There is no standard name for this. This is something like a NuGet or Maven or Ant. This central repository, artifactory for public repository for the entire JavaScript ecosystem. Okay, you can name npm as anything, right? So basically, the standard name of it is NuGet Package Manager, and you are downloading it and you are installing in your machine globally, so that it will be added as part of your what do you call as your environment variable. So one more thing, you will notice that when I am typing out using Visual Studio Code, I get this interesting colors. Class is in blue and class name is in green. So we like it. At least I like it very much. So it is properly written. That's why we have to use some sort of editors, and we have to be comfortable with the theme and stuff like that. Especially when you are slogging out with code and stuff like that, right? So now I have created a class and I want to say ID number. It's working here, man. Okay, ID number, and then I want to say name as string.
The method you can declare a type. Probably it's a JavaScript function then. It's not a class. It's a JavaScript function.
Oh,
Maybe that's why it's not allowed to declare a type.
Yeah.
So you can only declare
yeah, that could be the reason. Correct. So this is a very simple class. The class has two variables, no functions. One is an integer, another one is a string. Okay. And then I'm going to transpile this. Okay, we go to open terminal and say issue TSE. So as you can see, there is a new file created called sample.js. Let me click open it, and there is something in there, right? So it's an IFI. Basically, it is an immediately invoked function, and that function name is sample, and it is going to return the sample function itself, and in turn it is getting assigned to a sample variable, and it is immediately invoked. So the reason that I am showing very simple examples is I want to show you the reality and the modularity of TypeScript and whatever that you guys are learning. Can you see the complexity of this? It is really complex. For the simplicity of class with two variables, you have to do so many things here. You will never know if I miss out this bracket, what will happen. I don't know. So, and in a massive project, understanding your functions, how it works, that itself will become very complicated. Debugging will become complicated. But when you write it here, it is very simple, clean, and you can just insert a breakpoint here, and then you can debug. Go ahead and debug it. So this process of transpiling is handled by the TSE itself, and it comes very handy and helpful, right? And in your index.html, you will have to include the sample.js, not sample.ts, because browser does not understand TypeScript. Okay. அதான் இப்போ வந்து அது கிரண்ட் டாஸ்க்னு நான் உங்களுக்கு காமிச்சிருக்கேன். ஸோ டிரான்ஸ்பைலிங் கேன் பி டன் இன் டூ வேஸ். ஒன்று வந்து டிஎஸ்சி வச்சு பண்ணலாம், அந்த கோட் தான் எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகுது. சில editors will give you shortcuts like Ctrl+B, which helps you to do transpilation. Editor can do it, or you can issue TSC from your command prompt. The third way of doing it is using a task, which will be covered in session 2, where you can write automatic task wherein whatever TS file that you give, and then auto watch it. So your server is already started, your front-end server is already started. When you make any changes and hit save, whenever there is a delta available, your code will automatically be transpiled, and your server will be updated by that, and whatever updates that it gives you will be shown in your server logs. So that is what we are doing it in Grunt, but these are the steps towards it. Now yeah, so in Grunt, the server log itself will tell you there is a unterminated string literal that will be available, but editor la it won't say. And if you are doing it in your command prompt, தனியா பண்றீங்க, அதெல்லாம் கூட you cannot capture that very well. So use a very sophisticated editor like Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio or Sublime or something like that, so that the editor itself will tell you. So it is like you have to shift your thinking of writing your JavaScript from JavaScript to C#. So whatever importance or whatever understanding that you have while writing your C# code, it is what are the editors we have? We are using Visual Studio, and since we are bottom heavy, we are writing only minimal TypeScript code, so Visual Studio is fine. But if you are doing some sort of complete front-end development, then I would recommend you to configure, have a separate ID for it, like VS Code or WebStorm or Sublime or Atom. Configure your settings accordingly. So for example, Ctrl+B did not work for me. There's an overlapping setting here. So have a separate editor, and your C# can be done in VS, and you can do your front-end coding using some of this other editors.
In summary, we learned 101 of TypeScript and how it is related to Angular, and some more concepts on ECMAScript, NPM, transpilation, and editors. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. The more you like, I'll be encouraged to upload session 2 in this series. Thanks for watching.